welcome back to another episode of Lights Out with Ish and Eve. I'm Ish and this is Eve, and we are back to talk all about the actually kind of a banger of a race that was Bahrain.
Thank God, because if I had to watch two of Suzuka back to back, I'd be like,
what's the point?
Literally, what's the point?
Yeah. It was worth getting up at 5 a.m. for. I was very pleased.
That's so good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it was worth it for you.
Yeah, some of us can't work from home every day.
I can't work from home. I basically do, actually. Literally. They're like, come in 2 days a week. But nah. Nope. Anyways, but I do love that.
Yes, it was a great race. It showed how good a race can be when there's like two-stop, when there's tyre strategy involved, when there's tyre degradation, when there's overtaking. Like, it was just so good. Like, I think it very much kept you unsure about what was going to happen.
I had no idea what was going to go. Normally, I'm like, oh, well, like, he's pitting now, he's on this tyre, so that means, like, this is going to happen, like, la, 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 la. And I was like, I couldn't keep track of, like, who'd pitted how many times, who'd gone from what to what. Like, literally. All up and down the field. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, at one point, I think it was after the safety car, and it showed what tyres every driver was on. It was literally, like, split into thirds. Like, a third of them were on softs, a third of them were on hards, a third of them were on mediums.
But it was, like, all scattered. It wasn't even, like, the front runners were on this and that. It was like,
all
medium,
over the
medium,
place.
hard, soft, medium, hard, hard, soft, 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 medium, hard. I was like, what the?
Could you imagine if you got that right?
There's no way.
That'd be crazy.
There is literally no way.
If you did, that'd be crazy. But yeah, it was just a crazy race. At one point, Ferrari were running 1-2. Max was in P20. Like, what was going on?
Just so goofy. Ferrari was so funny.
Oh.
Like, that was a real roller coaster.
It was.
That was a real roller coaster. But it didn't turn out that bad. No. Like, it wasn't like a Ferrari roller coaster that has you crying at the end, but it's also not the Ferrari roller coaster that has you, like,
it sort of ended quite neutrally.
Yeah.
Which I'm alright with.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, it ended quite well.
Yes.
For, like, how their season has started.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it's ended quite standard for Ferrari. Like,
totally. I'm actually very happy with the 4-5. Thanks very much. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it ended okay.
Yes, absolutely. There were a few contentious FIA issues throughout the weekend.
They came to play.
For real. But we will discuss. And there was a bit of news, between, where were we last week?
Japan. I can't even remember where we were. It was so fucking boring.
Namely that the FIA, did you see this? The FIA Deputy President Robert Reid resigned, effective immediately.
Ooh.
Yeah. Before this weekend, saying that he was doing so because he had witnessed a steady erosion of the principles we promised to uphold within the organisation.
They are some strong words.
Them's just fighting words.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, valid.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I agree. That was what George's whole GDPA shebang was on about.
Literally.
And then bro was like...
Yeah. Stop. So, yeah, that's
kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy.
I didn't even hear about that.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
No. So, anyways, there's a lot to talk about with this weekend. Mm-hmm. So, shall we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Before we go? Sweet. So, FP1...
Rookies galore.
Rookie season.
Which makes complete sense because, like, it's the track that they've just done testing at.
Yes.
All of the drivers have had the most practice around this track so far this year in this car. So it kind of makes sense that a lot of them would be like... Because they've also upped it from 3 to 4 rookie sessions. Yeah.
Wow.
2 per car as well. So it's like... Yeah.
Interesting.
So we had Drugovic in for Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
Iwasa was in for Max, Beganovic was in for Charles, Luke Browning was in for Carlos, and Ryo Hirokawa, driving back-to-back weekends in FP1 for different teams, was in for Ollie, and Frederick Vesti in for George.
Yes.
So we had a few contentious comments about us saying that Hirokawa should have been in Gasly's car last weekend.
Yes.
Some people disagreed with that, which is fine. But I would just like to point out 5 out of 6 people here are replacing the senior driver, not the rookie in that team. And even someone on the commentary was like, weird that Hirokawa was in Ollie's car. And I was like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was saying. Anyways, they did quite good.
They did. Vesty seemed to struggle in the Mercedes a little bit, though. He had a lot of lockups.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's really funny. I heard someone talking about it after and being like, because when, I think maybe in FP2, they had Drugovic in on the commentary for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, oh, you did so good. You were only like a couple tenths off of your teammate Lance Stroll. And I was like, is he really the benchmark?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, it looks good.
I know. It's like, well, that's your only proper comparison, I guess, but like...
Yeah, I wonder how it'd go again. Like, no hate. I'm sure he's like great. But
yeah.
And he's stuck around Aston Martin for a long time.
He has. He is waiting for Alonso to retire or Lawrence Stroll to pull out of that team.
Literally. Anyway.
But
so,
yeah. I feel like the big thing that happened was the Albon and Browning moment.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
That was so close. And like to have that with your teammate, Zach Williams. What's going on?
Very much a team communication issue.
Yeah, I mean, because it was Alex that was turning in right and Browning on the lap.
Yeah, so Browning was coming around the corner and, yeah, Alex totally had not been told that he was coming in on a hot lap and Alex just turned to go on the inside. Little did he know that Browning was coming straight up the inside and both of them had to.
Yeah. I mean, like, Alex could have been looking in his mirrors for sure, but, like, the team should have told him.
Yes.
But,
Thankfully,
it was fine.
That was all fine.
Kimi Antonelli overheated his he didn't overheat his engine. His engine overheated and they were, like, trying to, like, yank the car apart, like, in the garage. And it was, like, they're, like, the big mechanics, like, pulling on the rear wing, like, trying to detach the thing. And it was just, like...
Bro, there were technical issues out the wazoo.
Oh, my God. Why does no one's DRS work?
Honestly.
Like...
Especially Liam Lawson's.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But yeah, that was
it's Helmut Marko.
Little
like jamming Liam Lawson's DRS, be like, look how bad he is.
Literally. There was a really funny meme that came out after FP1, and I was gonna put it in my funniest meme section, but I'll talk about it here. It was the like timing tower, and it was when the order was Browning, Hadjar, Hamilton.
I've seen this everywhere.
So funny. And it was like, what did bro have for lunch? Bro had ham.
It's just so stupid.
It's so stupid. It just made
but
me
it's so funny.
I know.
I love dumb memes.
Me too.
Like, just so good.
Yeah. What else happened in FP1?
Gasly put in a crazy lap.
Yeah.
Gasly. I love all of the memes of, like, it's, like, pictures of Ayrton Senna and, like, Michael Schumacher, and it's, like, Pierre Gasly in that fuck-ass Alpine whenever he wants.
But, like, so true.
Like, every now and then he's just like, we're getting a result this weekend.
Yeah.
He's just like...
It's time for some points.
Yeah, I've had enough. But, like, it's just, like, I don't get it.
I know.
But, like, go him.
Yeah.
He's late.
I guess.
But,
if you could do that a bit more consistently, that would be good.
But I'm sure I would if he could. But
totally.
Like,
but why does it happen sometimes?
Yeah, and, like, such a big gap.
Totally.
It's like you're here or you're here.
Yeah. Maybe it's the cold.
Something with the car, definitely.
Yeah, anyway.
Obviously. I feel like that kind of covers FP1.
I think that covers FP1 too. Oscar had a pretty big off at one point and, like, had a good save. That's
I can't even remember that.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. FP2!
I'm an Oscar Glazer.
Just wiped it.
I have one note from FP2.
Wow. What was your one note?
Alonso's steering wheel.
Yeah.
Detaching.
Yep.
Yeah?
That was crazy.
Like, what the fuck?
Well, I don't think it detached. I think he detached it.
But, like, why?
I think it wasn't working properly.
No, it wasn't. That's, like, I'm sure he was, like, trying to fix it.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think he would have, like, removed it on purpose. Like, I feel like he was probably trying to jiggle it to, like, you know when your, like, car's making a noise and you just, like, bash the dashboard and it stops?
No.
You've never driven a shitbox. My first car sometimes would start rattling and I'd just, like, bang the dash and it would stop.
Oh.
I don't have that car anymore.
That sounds road funny.
It's fine, it was a good car. Never had a single reliability issue. Anyway. But, like,
when you had to hit it.
Right down.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. The steering wheel, I feel like he was driving. Like, surely he's not, like, removing it on purpose.
So what I've heard is that he actually removed it on purpose and plugged it back in. Because it was like almost like a turn it on and off again.
Yeah, but
situation.
like while driving down the main straight, it's a bit crazy.
I know. But apparently it's happened before. Like there was a driver in, I don't know, like F3 or something that did it.
But like pull over maybe? Yeah. Maybe in the race.
Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy.
It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. And then like George kept joking about it, like in the race. That was funny.
George is such a fucking little bitch. I love him. He's that's kind of people are gonna be like, but like, he's just always involved in everything.
He is.
The smallest thing will happen, and he'll just like
insert himself.
Yeah, and it's like there's no reason for you to be here, but you're bringing quality banter. Yeah, so please continue to do that because I love it.
Agree. But yeah, that was all my notes for FP2 as well.
FP3.
Yeah. Charles's mirror just randomly flying off.
He's just trying to be like the Williams. He misses Carlos.
True. It was just like, so Oscar was looking very quick in FP3. Mm-hmm. And then the only other thing was like George was absolutely all over the place.
Yeah. Randomly.
Yeah. Did a spin at one point.
Mm-hmm. Like full spin.
Yeah. Crazy.
What's going on? And then Hulkenberg had anti-stall and his car just said,
that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah. But it's just so weird because like the daytime sessions were so different to the conditions at nighttime.
Yeah, so it was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, what was the point of just like everyone slipping around that track for an hour?
Like, this tells me nothing.
Yeah. Bizarre.
Anyways.
Shall
we move on to quali?
We shall. So, Q1, we had Ollie Behrman, Lance Stroll, Bortoletto, Lawson, and Alex Albon eliminated.
So, Liam Lawson's DRS wasn't working.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, pass on that one.
Yeah, you can't really hold that against him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alex Albon.
That is brutal. And
that is frankly, such a big miss.
Not good enough by the
No. And like, it never takes you that long.
Yeah, 40 minutes later.
To delete a lap time.
Like, sorry.
It doesn't take that...
This is where, again, the argument for why they're not full-time stewards comes into place. Because it's like, if you have full-time stewards, and it's not like you don't make enough as an organisation to pay them.
Yeah.
Like, if you have full-time stewards, then they have the training, the background, the experience, the race knowledge to know, like, to be able to do more with less, essentially.
Yeah.
And police that way better.
But, like it never takes them that long. Literally, like, it normally takes, about 5-10 minutes?
Literally.
5 minutes. Not even.
They were calling them all during the race.
Yeah.
About 17 black and white flags went out during the race. Like,
come on.
Yeah.
And, like, it's one thing to, like, if it didn't affect the result, but, like, that did.
Absolutely. And Carlos showed that the car could get up to Q3.
Yeah.
So.
And Alex has been qualifying so well.
Yeah.
So, like.
Who's to say?
Exactly. I think he would have been there.
I know.
Something else, like, Alpine was flying in Q1.
Yeah.
Jack Doohan as well as Gasly. Like, Doohan was holding the top time for a little bit there.
I know.
I was like, go off.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what we need.
Literally. Oh, I so thought he was going to get points today too.
I know, P11. So close.
Did he hit P11?
I think so.
Oh, I thought he, like, had a tumble at the end. Oh, because he got a penalty right at the end for track limits.
True.
Dropped him down. Anyway, Red Bull were both not looking good.
Dude, yeah, for real. They were both in Struggle Street.
All weekend, really.
Yeah.
But, like, both of them had their lap times deleted, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
It's like, you saw that one.
Yep. Crazy.
Anyways.
I know. So, that was annoying. I feel like Ollie Behrman, like, qualifying last too, was very out of character for him.
Yeah.
You know, few races.
He kind of slays.
He really kind of does.
He kind of slays.
But also, just on Alex Albon, and particularly, like, obviously with him getting knocked out when he shouldn't have, this is only the third time ever that Alex has been out-qualified by his teammate.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like, didn't have to be there.
No. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
But yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
Not about Q1, no.
So Q2 we had Ocon, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, and Jack Doohan.
Yes. Ocon in the wall is obviously what we kind of have to talk about.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Yes.
Because that was a bit bonkers.
That was the car was like mangled.
Yeah. And like, I just find it really funny, not that he crashed obviously, but like how often it happens that someone has a big crash and then they're telling all the drivers like, oh, this person went off here, and they're like, oh my god, I nearly did that. Happens all the time. Yeah. Like Hulkenberg was like, oh my god, I nearly did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And like in Australia, what was it? Oh, someone's crash. I think Jack Doohan's crash. Kimi Antonelli almost did the exact same thing, like in the exact same spot. Like
totally. It
clearly happens all the time, and I just think that that's so funny.
Yeah, well, like even when Oscar went off in Australia, like Lando took virtually the same line. It was like slightly different, but that's like tiny little difference.
Yeah. It was the catch, I think. Like the off was exactly the same, but then like Lando caught it and Oscar like overcorrected, I think, and went off the other way. But like
it's such tiny different
margins. I know. And
crazy.
That off in Australia is kind of why he's not leading the championship. Not kind of, that is why he's not leading the championship.
Yeah.
So one corner and that tiniest of margins.
But still, like, 20 races to go.
Oh my god. It's, like, obviously it's...
We're chilling.
It definitely doesn't matter. There's going to be more moments like that for both of them and for, like, everyone. So...
For sure.
But just kind of...
For now.
But for now. Anyways, back to Ocon.
Yes.
Big hit.
Yes. Glad that he was okay.
Yep.
But kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Also, Red Bull finishing Q2 in P9 and P10.
The only reason I am, like, okay with Jack Doohan being so close to making Q3 is the fact that it was Yuki that got through. Because I was like, I want Yuki to have good results too.
Yes.
So I was kind of like, but he was so close.
I know.
And I would have fucking loved Jack Doohan to get through to Q3.
I know.
How's that fucking B-rate, C... What was he? C?
C, yeah.
He was the C-rate driver. Bortoletto was the B-rate driver.
B for Bortoletto.
Mm-hmm. Grade the grid, bitch. Maybe Helmut Marko should grade our grid.
Fail for everyone.
Yeah. Except Max. Anyways, that's all I had to kind of say from...
Yeah. But yeah, like P11 was still quite respectable for Jack Doohan.
100%.
Before the time got delayed. And P13 was quite good for Nico Hulkenberg. He was quite happy with his result. Alonso, weirdly, was happy with his P14. I was like quite happy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird.
His expectations are on the floor.
Yeah. For real. So I thought that was interesting. But anyways, that was my Q2 notes. Q3?
Q3 was kind of crazy. Like the tire deficit, like so many people started on used tires.
Yeah.
And then went to...
Because only Charles and the McLarens
had
2 sets of softs.
Yeah.
Q3.
So, and George?
Yeah, maybe and George as well.
Because the first lap that George put in was fucking bonkers.
It was like a second faster than everyone
That's why I'm like, surely he was on new softs.
Yeah.
And the McLarens hadn't gone yet. Because when he put that time in, I was like, what the fuck?
But then
I was like, but...
Because he put it in and Charles was like 1.4 off. And I was like... But then Charles did another lap and he was 1.2 off. And I was like...
you're improving, but like...
But you're not.
I was like, how is this happening?
I know.
That was crazy.
On the floor.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god. I was like, is he like, what's happening?
I know. Bizarre.
Anyways.
George did that first run and then no one got near it. And then in the second run, it was the McLaren.
The McLaren's
got near it on the first run. Yeah. And then
I think they beat it as well. I think Oscar was above and Lando was below.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in the second run, they all got a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But Lando and Max did not get close enough.
No. That was, like, not good from Lando. Max was kind of, like, struggling the whole weekend, it's kind of...
But still.
Yeah.
Shock.
I know.
P6 and P7. Hello?
Not good.
Why are you there?
And, like...
With Gasly up in P...
4.
5.
And then got promoted to P4.
Yes.
I was like, welcome back, Charles.
Yeah.
First time we've seen him interviewed all year. I was like, oh, hey!
For real. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I feel like we haven't even really talked about Charles on the podcast so far this
Because
year.
he hasn't done anything.
Bro's just been hanging out in like P4 / getting disqualified.
Yeah. P4, P8, disqualification.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been hanging out with people.
Got it.
But yeah, when he was being interviewed after quali, I was like, oh my god, it's been so long
I know.
since we've spoken to you.
I know.
I mean, not us personally, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be nice.
wanna come on the podcast, Charles?
Yeah.
But yeah, really bad from Lando. He was not happy at all.
Lando afterwards, I was like, don't be like this.
Don't say that.
Because it's like, one, it's not good for, I think, him to be
He just crashes
so
out.
constantly negative,
Like, ugh.
especially in the press,
Mhm.
and everyone just gets all their sound bites. And then that then drives people not liking him.
I know.
Because people then feel like that's whiny
Mm.
and, like, I understand the emotion of the time and you just
Yeah.
feel like shit and you don't
He
wanna
needs to
front up
start
in front of
being
the
like
cameras.
Max.
He does. Absolutely. In
But
front
except
of the
Max
cameras.
can get away with saying stuff like that.
Yeah, but he'll say it in a way that's like, yeah, I think he's
More blunt,
like,
less emotional.
Yes, less emotional about
Yeah.
it. Whereas Lando shows emotion.
Yeah.
Which, love that.
Yeah, it's not a negative
It's
thing.
not a bad thing, but a lot of people do take it as a negative thing.
Yeah, and then it kind of like it feeds the hate comments.
Yeah.
And it feeds the questions about him and the media noise around him, and it's
Yeah.
just like a bad kind of cycle.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's
I
tough.
know. You're right. He does just need to front up a little bit more like Max.
He needs to close off.
Yeah.
And like that's
Just
he
in
doesn't-
front of the media.
exactly not like
to
into your
yourself,
team and
your
to
team.
your
Yeah.
support network and stuff, but to the media.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to like put a wall up
Yeah.
and like because the more he does that, the more the media's gonna be like
Yeah.
and like rip him to shreds about it, and
Absolutely.
everyone online
Yeah.
that already hates him like is
It's
like
giving
this
him
little
ammunition.
fucking
Yeah. Like he's
Entitled
like a whiny
shit.
little
Yeah.
child, like can't handle it. Like, no, he's not. He's a like highly professional, highly talented racing driver.
he's a
who's,
grown man.
like, yeah. It's just
Yeah, but
But anyways, so I
yeah.
did feel bad about that. I did find his comment afterwards very funny, where he was like, well, Oscar's was like asked about where he was gonna get, and he's like, well, Oscar's probably just gonna lap the whole field, so I guess I'll try and get second.
Yeah, that was really funny. And I just like that, like, obviously we're only 4 races in, McLaren still has the opportunity to descend into 2016 Mercedes,
Yes.
but at this point in time, they're kind of just memeing it out.
Yeah,
And that's what they need to do.
absolutely. For however long they can just like
Ignore it
laugh
and
about the
yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and not get too serious, like,
Yeah.
with each other.
Because it will.
Yeah.
It will boil over.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Like, once it comes to, like, championship defining moments.
Yes.
Like, at this point in time, it's still, like... But I think put other 2 drivers there and it could definitely be already, like, tense.
100%. Well, I think even after this weekend, like, prior to this, Lando was ahead, Oscar was chasing, and so it felt like there was a bit more of an order. But now...
Yeah, and I was going to talk about this, is because basically the tune I've been humming...
Yes.
Is that the saying? I think that's... The tune I've been humming...
Sing?
Humming?
I don't know.
I don't know. The story I've been on
Yes.
has been very much like Oscar is as good as Lando,
Yes.
if not better, just less consistent with qualifying.
Mm.
And I've been saying, if he, like from last year to this year, I think I talked about this quite a bit in our predictions, is like Lando will beat Oscar unless Oscar can close the gap in qualifying.
Yeah.
And he seems to have done that.
Yeah.
And now is reaping the rewards of qualifying ahead of Lando.
Particularly because it seems like overtaking is just feeling impossible.
Yeah.
Like, someone was saying that, like, this is going to become a Saturday championship.
Well, I heard Matt and Tommy talking about it, and they ran through all of the tracks over the years.
Yes.
And they were like, can't overtake here, 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 can't overtake, can't overtake, can't overtake, can't overtake, can't overtake.
Yeah, there was, like, a handful where you could.
Like
the
5 or
rest just-
6.
Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about how, this was after Suzuka, they were talking about this.
Yeah.
They were talking about how the F1 cars, the machinery, have outgrown the tracks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just so sad.
The cars are 5 meters long. Like,
For what?
yeah.
A lot of reasons, I'm sure.
All the stuff that they have to put on it. But
Engineering.
Like, yeah. But
Yeah, like the tracks were built, 50 years ago. Like Bahrain was paved 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like all these tracks are decades old.
Yeah.
Like,
and the cars were like half the size.
yeah, they're just not built for
like I would love them. But I'm sure as well. Yes, maybe like the cars wouldn't be as fast, but you could make a damn fast Formula One car smaller.
Totally.
And the teams have the technology and engineering and aerodynamicists and like the capability to do that.
Yeah.
And obviously next year they're getting a bit smaller, but like 10 centimeters. Like, what's that really gonna do?
Yeah.
But like I would love to see some small cars just slinging it around Monaco, like sending overtakes around, like, because like it would just make it so much more fun.
Totally. Did you hear about the meeting that the teams had, and like the team engine suppliers and things had about the 2030 regulations?
No.
So apparently over the last week there was a meeting between the FIA and like all the engine providers and whatever for what they think the 2030 regulations should start looking like.
God.
Which, first of all, I think is so funny because I think clearly no one thinks the 2026 regulations are going to be good.
Yeah.
They're already like talking about scrapping them. So I'm like, but
McLaren domination era continues.
No,
let's
like,
go.
They're not scrapping it. They're still going to do it, but not continuing with it post
2026.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like just having those 4 years and then completely changing it rather than like building on
developing
it for the next 4
Yeah.
years. So yeah, they were talking about the 2030 regulations, and apparently Mohammed Ben Sulayem, who
president of the FIA,
yeah, we do not love him. Apparently he pitched like renewable fuel V10 engines, like going back to the V10 engines, and because everyone loves the V10 engines, they sounded great, and I think it was literally just a pitch to try and like win him popularity points.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, but then like I think everyone was like, that's not happening, like no one wants to do it, because also like all these this is such like a sidebar, but like all these companies that provide engines and fuel and like technology for F1 cars, they all want to use,
the most modern.
They want to get some ROI on their road cars, and road cars are not going towards petrol; they're going towards hybrid and electric.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
Boring.
It's not where the money is.
Yeah. Boring.
I know. So
have some fun.
Yeah, but
I would love that.
But I think like 10 octaves deeper than what you just did.
Well, I'm not Liam Lawson, okay? Can't he do a good engine sound? Oh no.
No, he was in a video with the guy that
does good engine sounds. Anyway, I've never tried to do an engine sound before, so I
hit it.
No. I just did.
True. Anyway, that was such a random side note. Back to the end
of
interesting.
I don't know any of that.
Yeah. End of quali though.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
That was it. Oscar pole, slay to him. We were very excited.
Yeah.
So, the race. Where to begin?
Well, the start.
At the start.
Lando.
Yeah.
Just fucking went.
Dude, I was watching it. It was about 5:10 in the morning.
And you're like,
the lights went out. And then I see Lando just climb the top of the timing tower. Because I was sort of more watching Charles and Oscar, obviously.
Yeah. Well, Charles and Oscar didn't even get close together because George went straight past Charles.
Yeah.
And then almost crashed into Oscar.
Literally. But I was like, terrible start for Charles. But I watched him move up and I was like, I literally yelled. I was like, how did Lando do that? 5 o'clock in the morning.
Literally, your housemates are like,
they're like,
shut the fuck up. Yeah, but he fucking flew.
He found the most perfect little road and just threaded it through amazingly.
Yeah, and like almost immediately got past Charles as well. Like that took him a little bit longer. Like he went straight past Gasly.
Yeah.
Straight past Kimi.
Yep.
Straight past... Oh, we didn't even talk about the Mercedes getting penalties for qualifying.
Oh, true.
They both got a grid job because Mercedes sent them out before the red flag was turned off. Anyway.
Yeah.
Straight past those two, and then was like kind of hanging it around with Charles, and then got him fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And I was like, slay. We're on.
I know.
let's fucking go.
Yeah, that was an incredible start from him. And yes, also a really good start for George.
Yeah.
Very aggressive.
Straight
nearly
past Charles.
sent it into Oscar.
Yeah, that was not so slay.
Yeah. But then Oscar gapped George like immediately.
Yeah.
See you later.
Like, yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But like, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Then about like a lap later,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, false start. And I was like, well, that explains it. That would explain it.
To be fair, it was like, yeah, I think he was just like trying to make sure he was right on the line and then basically just like went too far.
Apparently, like when he put it into first gear, it like moved a little bit, like it rolled.
Yeah, but like as it would if you're putting a car in first gear, you know what I mean?
Like if the brake's on, it won't move.
True. But if the brake's on, it won't move. So did you have the brakes on?
Or clearly not. But anyway, he just like kind of rolled
A little bit and went a little bit too
honestly,
far.
at that point, I was like, I will take four
Take the
places
5 seconds.
and the 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
Like at that point, I was like, that's
100%.
fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Because I was like, in that car, like you can make a gap
Totally.
to then like have the 5 seconds not matter as much.
Exactly. And like right at the start of the race, like that's
Whatever.
perfectly manageable.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take the 5 seconds. It was
Yeah.
so funny, the onboard of Max. He was watching directly. I was like, why are you just looking at Lando?
I know.
Maybe he was trying to see like which way he was like pointing his car
Yeah.
or something. But
But his head like
he was like watching like a hawk. He did like a double take.
yeah.
So he kind of was like looking around and looked at Lando for like a while.
I know.
And then seemed to like look a little bit back, and then Lando moves and he's like,
yeah. He was like, I see you. I'm
Yeah.
on you.
yeah, it's like
I'm
Qatar
on your
all
shit.
over again. It's like, he didn't lift under yellows.
Like, okay, knock.
Okay.
Honestly.
What about just have some fun?
yeah. What about just live, love, love?
No, it was really
I don't
funny
know.
though.
It
It provided
was
some
funny.
good names. So.
I agree. The other thing I'll say about the start, even before the start, was when the both Ferraris rolled out of the garage in different tyres to everyone else. And I was like, this is either going to go really badly or really well.
And it didn't really. It looked like a good. What did it look bad and then good?
It looked bad once they were not as far, and that was why Charles didn't get a good start, was because everyone else was on soft and he was on mediums. So it looked bad right at the start, but then obviously as the softs degraded and the mediums were still fine, then that was great. And then it kind of like neutralized out. Yeah, after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bit like, panic.
Yeah, it's not
Ferrari
a good sign.
panic.
It's not a good sign. It's
No.
a bit nerve-wracking. Also, Carlos got up a little bit off the start.
Carlos did get up a little bit off
He
the
had
start.
a wild little race.
He did. I felt so bad for him because he
Yeah.
was running really well. Like,
Yeah.
he was up in the points, and I was like, Slay, like, you have not had a good start at Williams so far. Like, here we go. Let's get some good points.
Especially with Alex out of the points. Like,
Yeah.
Get your
Like-
team the points that they need, like when...
100%.
I'm going to say their lead driver. But...
Yeah. But, yeah, unfortunately, he and Yuki came together mid-race.
Yeah.
And
hole.
absolutely ripped a huge hole in Carlos's car.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
And that was the end of Carlos's race.
I thought jumping back to closer to the start, Carlos fighting with Lewis was really funny.
That was very funny.
I was like, because Lewis went past him and then like Carlos went back past him immediately.
Yeah.
It's almost like he was like, oh, I've been overtaken. Oh, Lewis?
I think not.
Yeah, he's like, fuck off.
I know. Even Martin Brundle on the commentary was like,
was
that was personal.
So funny.
I know. Coming back to the start as well, sorry.
Yeah.
Ollie Behrman had an amazing
Oh
start.
my God, yeah.
He was up like 5 places.
I know.
It was amazing.
I was like, he started last.
Yeah, he is no longer last.
No.
Yeah, amazing start for him.
Yeah. Haas just in general, they cooked.
They really did an amazing race for
They're
Haas.
coming back.
Yeah.
The start of the season, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it was a little bit worrying, but
They've
yes,
definitely
they have made
picked
some
it
money
up.
moves.
The first round of pit stops then kind of started.
Yep.
And I thought it was really funny Ferrari not taking Charles' strategy, which was
know.
probably the right decision.
It was, I think, the right decision.
It was.
When they were first putting him on hards, I was like, no.
No,
And
they
then-
put him medium.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
When they first didn't. Didn't put him on hards.
Yeah.
I was like, no, like the one stop, because that was obviously what their plan was.
Yeah.
But then yes,
The hard tire
were
was
not the way to go.
terrible. So,
but yeah, that was quite funny.
yeah.
Just before the pit stops, though, there was a very funny moment.
Yeah.
And it was like two very different Landos between the end of quali and in the race, where Lando was on the radio being like, I'm fucking fast.
I didn't hear that. Really? Did they broadcast that?
Yep. Oh, no, they didn't broadcast it. Karoon, like, quoted it.
Oh, I was like, how
He
did
was like, Lando's just on the radio saying he's fucking fast.
I was like, there's no way I would have missed that.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Even like before the race when he was like on his way to the national anthem.
Oh yeah, he was locked
and
in.
Martin was like, no, he was literally like having a giggle. He was like, Martin was like, oh, Lando, like a word before the thing, you got 20 seconds. He's like, I'm not getting a fine, mate. Walked off. Like, yep.
That was funny.
Like, he was chilling.
He was. But yeah, so that was very funny. But yes, anyways, sorry.
That's all
pit
good.
stops.
Well, I only kind of had Charles's pit stop noted because they didn't consider his strategy. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
when it's most teams like not going with the driver strategy, it's like, yeah. When it's Ferrari, it's like,
Why? Yeah, exactly. But it turned out to be the right call.
it was definitely the right call.
Because Max came into the pits as well. And it was the start of, well, not even the start of his problems. His problems were happening all weekend.
It was the start of pit stop hell at Red Bull.
Yes. So for some reason, the green light that normally comes on to tell the driver that they're good to go did not come on.
No.
And he was just sat there, and then was just like, fuck it, I'm going anyway.
Yeah, or like GP told him or something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went off, but it was like a 6-point-something seconds pit stop.
Wasn't it 4 and then the second one was 6? I don't know.
Either way,
doesn't
yeah.
really matter.
There was 6 and then 4 or 4 and then 6. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was brutal.
Yeah, and I wonder, because they were saying on the commentary that that's automated. So I'm like, is that Red Bull's fault? Or is that like...
I don't think so. I'd say it's just another one of the technical issues that
was
seemed to be
happening at the track.
Yeah.
But like, it's a pretty bad fuck up. Like,
yeah, really bad.
For all of the pit stops then for Red Bull, basically. Because then it happened on Yuki's first pit stop and it happened on Max's second pit stop. But I didn't see if it happened on Yuki's other one or whatever. But like, that's 3 pit stops that have gone like 2 to 5 seconds longer than they should.
Yeah. Well, because Max's second pit stop, they also had the issue with the front right wheel. Yeah, he just... I feel like everything that could have gone wrong for Max
Went wrong. Yeah.
Because I think it was when he came out of the second pit stop. He was running P20.
P20, yeah.
I ain't ever seen Max Verstappen running P20 in
I was
my
like,
life.
how long before he goes kamikaze and takes someone out of the race as well as himself?
Like, that's it.
That's it. I've had enough. Who's up next on the road? You're coming out with me.
But yeah, that was rough.
Speaking of Max.
Yes.
Kimmy's overtake on Max.
Dude, Kimmy had some really good overtakes, and the one on Max was displeased.
Yeah, and I was like, well, you're the old guy now, Max.
Yeah,
like,
this is you.
Literally.
He is your mini-me.
Yeah, honestly. Toto Wolff's there, like...
Yeah, absolutely. Toto's like, I dreamed about this moment.
Yeah. Project Max Verstappen is working.
Honestly, yeah. His overtake was... And, like, Max got mad on the radio afterwards as well. He was not live, laugh, loving after that.
Well, I feel like it's made worse by the fact that he was just not live, laugh, loving the whole time.
No, and then he's just like, fuck this kid.
Yeah.
Then the safety car came out. Did you have anything to talk about pre-safety car?
No,
Okay.
but I was just saying, like, that's when the crash contact happened between Carlos and Yuki.
Yes.
Which is what caused the safety car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which didn't look bad on the offboards.
No.
Like, it wasn't a big collision.
But there was a lot of debris. Like, you could see the, like, of debris.
Well, with the amount of hole ripped in his car, all that
not shocked.
car had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So, yes, that did make sense.
And the safety car, like, kind of came at a good time for everyone.
Yeah.
Bar Kimmy.
Yes. It was, like, good for pretty much all the front runners except Kimmy.
Yeah. And that really kind of fucked his race because Mercedes had just committed to the 3-stop, basically.
Yes.
By putting him on softs halfway through the race.
Yeah.
In his second pit stop.
Yeah.
And then 4 laps later, there was a safety car.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he'd been on any other tyre bar the soft, he would have stayed out and gained track position.
Yeah.
But on the soft tyre, it's like, you're going to have to stop again.
Yeah, you might as well.
Do it now under the safety car.
Yeah, 100%.
So I kind of got that, but he kind of got absolutely screwed by the safety car. And it nearly screwed Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, had he have been,
10, 20, 30, 50 more meters down the road. Like, he was very close to the pit.
But, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway.
It was, yeah. Like, it wasn't, like, immediately he had to dive in.
No,
but, like,
it was, like, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he was the first one coming round
Yeah.
to the pit entry. So
Yeah.
it almost could have been really bad for him.
Yeah.
But it
ended
worked
up
out
being really
well
good.
for everyone.
Yes. But then the Ferraris put put Charles on hards. And I was like, okay.
But, like, also at the same time, like, when Mercedes put George on softs, I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's going to the end. And even George.
Yeah, George was like, this is audacious.
Only fucking George Russell would throw out an audacious on the radio mid-race.
Yeah.
Like, why are you just tapping into that vocabulary at this point in time? Like, go off.
Like, does your brain not have other things to do right now?
Yeah, you're thinking of, like, I mean, it's a good word for it, but, like,
Totally.
I don't think if I was, like...
He just had, like, a vocab word of the day.
What's that game where you have to, like, say a word in a sentence or something? I don't know. Anyways.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, but
they've gone medium, so they had to run a different compound. But,
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think softs would have made it to the end. Turns out they did. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a gamble either way. Like, Ferrari went the safe option.
Mercedes went the tricky option.
Yeah, Mercedes went the riskier option, but anyways.
It took Lando... Oh, sorry. Let's go back to the safety car restart.
Yes.
I was a little bit nervous because I don't know if I've seen Oscar do a safety car restart before.
Yeah, I think I've seen him do it maybe like once or twice, but yeah.
So I'm just like thinking of the other races that he's won. Like Hungary, Lando basically was leading that race.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen him do them very often.
Yes.
So I was a bit nervous.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, when Max is doing a safety car restart,
Yeah,
I'm like,
you just know he's going to nail it.
Yeah. Even Lando's gotten quite good at them as well.
Yes.
But Oscar, I was like, I don't know. He did good. George did try and have a crack.
He did.
And I was nervous about that, especially with George being on the soft. I was like,
yes.
Oh. But that was fine.
It was fine. Oscar did very well.
Lando got himself in a Ferrari sandwich.
He did.
Which was not ideal.
I know. And it took him a hot minute to get past Charles.
Yeah, he got back past Lewis immediately. I was like, great.
Yeah, that was fine.
But
Charles,
took, a while to get past Charles.
Yeah,
I think like, can we hurry out, please?
I know, he sort of like overshot it once and locked up and then had to like kind of make the time back up again and then had another crack and it didn't quite work and then I think it finally happened.
Yeah, there was a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
But
it was always coming. It was just a matter of time. And he had the time, so it was always going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I wasn't too stressed about it. I was stressed about him locking up and, like, crashing into Charles or some bullshit.
Yeah.
But then, this is when George's fucking telemetry started going crazy. I saw him drop. He was in P2.
He went down to
P20.
P20.
And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I was like, he's in the wall.
Yeah. But I was like, how's everyone gone past him that quickly?
I know.
Like, everyone's bunched up, apparently.
Yeah.
Because he just, like, boom to the bottom of the times. And I was like, oh. Yeah. And they were on the commentary, they were like, I can confirm George is still in P2.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Okay. What I take issue with is then Sky Sports, like, because obviously then he was just bouncing around all over the place.
Like, him, we knew that his wasn't working.
But then they took away the timing tower again. And
for so long.
And then they finally got it back, but the times weren't updating. Work your shit out.
We actually, like, in that last stint.
What was going on? Couldn't
have
tell
no
you.
idea.
Who was getting close to who? Couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
was just watching cars drive in circles. Might have well been FP1.
Yeah, like, Lando was, like, attacking and, like, backing off of Charles. And I was like,
is he within a second? Is he not? And also all the drivers didn't know if they were within a second.
DRS, yeah.
So they were like hesitant because like George had his, using a DRS when you shouldn't thing. And I think they were all like, oh God, like, we have to make sure
that's
we
like
don't.
right at the end, like when Lando was closing up on George, Will was
Yeah.
like, do not use DRS unless you are certain.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a big
pressure.
pressure. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
I know. Like, obviously they know roughly like, how close they are to someone's
But
rear
that's why they're saying,
before.
like, don't go off roughly. Like,
I know.
go off, like, within
You gotta
half
know.
a second.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
which Lando basically was, like, the whole time. So it was kind of
Totally,
fine.
So it was fine.
But when he got past Charles's DRS just wasn't working.
stopped working. Yep.
So there was no opportunity
For
for that to be a battle.
Yeah.
I was like, great, see you later.
yeah. I was like, cool. I guess I'll just
I'll
we'll just hang out here.
Yeah.
Wasn't excited for a Ferrari podium for the first time in the season. It's fine. Don't worry. It's cool.
It's fine. You're like Oscar leading the championship and Ferrari podium. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, there was also like one point a bit around that similar time where further back in the field they went like 4 wide into one corner.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But that was
It's
a
fine.
thing, like, up and down the field all race, there was just good racing. It was
Yeah.
so good. It
was
wasn't
really
like
good.
Suzuka where they were a second and a half. They were all nicely spaced out, a second and a half apart. Everyone was close together and everyone was racing all the time.
yeah, it was so good. And there was also like black and white flags and penalties fucking
Like,
everywhere.
all the rookies, black and white flags.
I know,
Stop
and,
going
like,
off the road.
Kimmy and who was it? Kimmy and Liam or Hadjar? One of the RBs, I think, had their black and white flag like a third of the way through the race.
I know.
I was like, damn.
And then Kimmy had a black and white flag and then got another track limits violation, which should be a time penalty. So I don't know
Yeah.
how he got away with that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That was bizarre.
Yeah.
There was all these jokes about because Fernando Alonso also got a black and white flag, and it was like, well, another rookie got a black and white flag.
Yeah. And then, like, right at the end, Lando got a black and white flag.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. Hell nah.
Don't do it.
And because he was, like, trying to overtake George. I'm like, you've just gone off the track about 12 times trying to get past Charles.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't do it again.
don't do that.
I know.
But
yeah.
he kept it on the track, and it was fine.
He did.
But one of my favorite memes, which I did write down, was like, I saw a meme of like a normal driving car dashboard with all of the lights on. And it was like George Russell in Bahrain. I was like, true.
Bro, he was just having to fix issues throughout the whole race.
With his telemetry not working and his like whatever, everything being cooked, they tried to like reset it. And that's why he opened the DRS when he didn't mean to. He's like, I pressed the radio button and the DRS opened.
Yeah.
I'm like, how?
Like, at one point, his engineer was like, so everything's going to go blank.
It's fine.
It's fine. Just keep driving.
I'd
I'd be
be
like, what?
yeah. Like, all right. Cool. Didn't need it anyway. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. And like, imagine just pressing the radio button and the DRS open. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Hello? This is not what I asked for.
No. But kind of funny.
So funny.
So I think kind of valid that he didn't get a penalty.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I did see people being like, if that was Max Orlando, they would have got a penalty.
Yeah, but I at this when it first was announced, I was like, what the hell? Like, he's gotten an advantage. He's the DRS been open. Like, he should get a penalty for that. Like, even though it was a mistake, da da da. But then, yeah, then after hearing about it and reading about it, and he had like 2/10 of like time advantage in the end because he like opened it and closed it straight away and then like backed off.
Slowed down, yeah.
To like counter it, like
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, and like not his fault. It's not like he did it at a point to like get a little bit extra so he wouldn't get overtaken. Like
Exactly.
he wasn't under pressure. I'm pretty sure it was when Lando was still trying to get past Charles. So I think it was like
he was chilling.
he was fine.
Nah, 100%.
But then I was really annoyed right at the end that Max got past Pierre.
Yeah, true.
No!
I know.
He was doing so well. Still a great result. Still a really great
For
result.
sure. But you're
But-
like, every point counts.
Yeah.
Nah, I get
know.
you.
Oh, and also just for Pierre.
Yeah,
From like an Alpine perspective.
True.
But yeah, I was actually thinking about that in the championship. I was just thinking about it for Alpine.
Fair.
But that was crazy.
It was crazy.
And just like times penalties, like how many time penalties did Liam end up with? 15, 20
Yeah,
seconds?
something like that. Yeah,
And Carlos didn't serve his. So
Did he get one?
He got one.
Oh.
For causing a collision. Not causing a collision, for forcing another driver off the track at the restart with Kimi. You know how he, like, locked up and, like, pushed Kimi off?
That's so annoying.
That might be why Kimi got away with his track limits violation, if that's where he went off.
Yeah, maybe.
But Carlos got a 10-second penalty for that and didn't serve it.
He's
So
to serve
I
it in
kind of thought that Williams were going to bring him in, serve it,
out,
send him out for a lap, and then retire the car.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty standard thing to do.
Perez did that like a year or two
But he
ago.
actually got out of the car.
Yeah, he got out of the car and then got back in.
Because I think the penalty wasn't announced yet. So he'd like already gotten out and they were like, no, get back in.
Yeah.
Just so funny.
And all the memes are like, how do you DNF twice?
But like with Carlos, the penalty was already a thing. So I think Lance Stroll did it, or Alonso. One of the Astons did it as well, I think, like late last year.
Because you just don't want to carry that into the next race.
So I think Carlos is either going to have, like, I think it's a grid penalty.
That's annoying.
So, yeah, not ideal.
Oh, poor Carlos.
I know.
But yes, amazing work by Oscar in the end.
Yes.
Terrible F1 TV direction. Not showing the winner crossing the finish line, showing it in the little mini box.
It's like maybe that's actually the point.
Yeah.
Who wins the race is actually the point of the whole thing.
And also, like, Lando wasn't getting anywhere near George at the time that was happening.
Yeah, like he'd gone through turn 1 and turn 4, which were like the points that you can get past, mainly.
Like, put them in the mini box.
Yeah.
That is Oscar's moment. We haven't seen him all race because he's buggered off to the, like, out the wazoo.
Like, good for him.
Yep, loved it. Really happy about it. But show him winning the race.
Yeah.
A crime.
I know. I was like, he did have I did love that we still got a sassy Oscar radio message.
Oh yeah, what did he say? I was like starting to get ready for work at that time.
Yeah, his engineer was like, remember to use the drink or like use the water. Oh, yeah. And he was like, yeah, well, I would if I could. Like, I would if it was working. Yeah. So, and it was like, okay. Something like that. It was just such another little like Oscar moment, which is really funny.
But yeah, the F1 TV direction at the end was terrible. They were like cutting between all the overtakes that were happening with the Ferraris.
I mean, it is tricky.
Totally. But like,
but that's the point.
I know. Anyway.
I mean, I'm sure if they had shown that, people would have been like, wow.
Yeah.
About the other stuff.
For sure. But anyway.
Anyway, Oscar won the race.
We were very happy.
I'm going to need a new...
You are going to need more McLaren merch.
Because I can't just wear this every time Oscar wins a race. And I need something to wear when Lando wins a race.
True.
I mean, I love this top, but like, it's going to get old, and people are going to think all our clips are from the same, from the same episode.
If any people that make a fun merch want to send us some stuff,
we will happily rep it. I mean, how many times have you worn that?
Dude, so many. But I love her. She's super cute.
Yeah.
Evie got it for my birthday.
It's from Etsy.
But anyways, then so that was the end of the race, and then the cool down room.
A cool down room was class. I love the cool down room.
So good. Oh, where did their clothes go? First of all,
George was just like stripping off in the corner. I was like, oh my god.
I know. And then and then Lando at one point took off like all his clothes.
That must have been after the podium.
Yeah. But it was just
George did him so dirty posting that.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? I know. It's like, what is that? What gremlin is on the fucking floor of the cool down room with like in boxes and socks?
Literally.
I was like, what the fuck?
Hello? But yeah, that was a very funny cool down room.
Yeah.
They were just yapping.
They
were like, that was a chill race, right?
They're like the new 3 podcast hosts.
I know.
And I love it. They're very funny.
They are.
I just love how Lando every time just takes the piss out of whatever he's done bad.
Totally.
Every time he's just like, yeah. Like in Suzuka when he like tried to overtake Max on the grass, he was like taking the piss out of himself.
Yeah.
And then like when he like locked up trying to overtake Charles. And when Lando was like, oh, who's that? Oscar's like, that's you, mate.
Yeah.
Like, what? But I think Lando was being like, oh, who was that?
Yeah,
like, that wasn't me. Like, what do you mean?
That's crazy.
And then calling Lewis Hamilton a Muppet.
Yeah.
Oh, you Muppet. Muppet is just such a Lando term.
It is. It's very British, but yes, Lando says it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very
funny. So funny. Anyway, they were having a blast.
They were. It was very entertaining.
I'm sure they enjoyed that a little bit more than the Suzuka.
Yeah.
Cool down.
The 30-second replay
of nothing.
Oscar being like, so is that it?
Yeah. Anyway, that's now 4 out of 4 podiums for Lando.
True.
3 out of 4 for George.
True.
3 out of 4, I think, for Oscar as well. Was Oscar on the podium in Suzuka? Yeah. Was it
Yes.
McLaren 2-3?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's now 4 out of 4, 3 out of 3, and 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3 for George is great.
So great.
And now he's got a P2.
Yeah. I think he'll win a race by the end of the season.
100%.
Sure.
100%. I was thinking
I think there'll be a sneaky George win. I think there'll be a sneaky Charles win.
Yeah. A couple more sneaky Max wins. Not even sneaky Max wins, just Max
wins.
doing Max stuff.
All right. Let's do our awards.
Yes.
Biggest winner.
Well, Oscar, obviously.
Yes.
I also had George.
Yes.
Because with all of the issues that he had going on, P2 ahead of a McLaren.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
I also had Haas.
Yes, I also had Haas to recover from P14 and P20 to get double points.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
And I had Gasly as well.
Yeah.
Like,
First
race.
Alpine points of the year.
Yeah, so good. Biggest losers.
I had Max.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he was not particularly having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he still kind of recovered it to P6
Yeah.
because he's Max Verstappen, but, like, he was not having a good time.
Yeah.
And I also had Carlos.
Yeah, me too. I had Carlos. I also had Aston Martin
Oh, yeah.
because if you take out Sainz with his DNF, and we didn't even talk about Nico Hulkenberg getting disqualified.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah. Nico got
what?
disqualified.
He loves a disqualification.
Yeah. For his flaw being, like the plank being, like, I think
like
2.
Lewis.
Yeah.
I did not know about that.
Yeah.
Where
So he
have
got
I
disqualified. Anyways, so taking out Sainz and Nico, of the people that finished, Lance Stroll finished second last and Alonso fourth last. Like,
I mean, they're just waiting for Adrian Newey, aren't they?
totally.
But like, Lance Stroll is so bad. He started the year really well.
I know.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe it does take a year. Sorry, I mean a decade.
I was like,
I didn't do that on purpose. I actually didn't do that on purpose. Maybe it does take a decade to become a competent Formula One driver.
yeah.
Oh, a decade of years in actual Formula One, not of practice.
Yeah.
But
no.
every now and then in a wet race, Lance Stroll is just like,
Yeah, I got this.
Anyway.
But yeah, so those are my biggest losers.
fair.
Biggest meme?
I talked a little bit about the George one with all of the dash.
Yes.
I've also loved like all of the ones from after quali with like, I can't remember what it is, but like
I always try and hunt them down because I put them in the video.
oh,
So when you describe them, I'm like typing
you
them
do a
into
good
Google.
job. I can try and find them as well and send them to you.
Yeah.
But it was like, I think it's a meme from something or other, I don't know. But it's like Lando and Max, and it's like when they qualified P6 and P7, and it's like, you shouldn't be here.
That's from, like, it's from, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's from Avengers Endgame.
Yes, I knew it was from something like that, but I didn't want to sound like a fool because I don't watch movies, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you shouldn't be here, and it's like, neither should you. I was like, true. And also the meme where it's like, and the guy's name, I'm blanking on the fucking guy's name, and he's like, anyway, and he's like whispering to him, and it's like, the second Red Bull got points. It's like, what do we do? The second Red Bull got points. It's like, how do we handle this situation?
That's so funny. I also had one that was, I don't know if it was, I think it might have been from Collie or something, but anyways, it was just a photo of Mattia Binotto standing at the pit wall, like looking out over the pit lane, and he's obviously in his bright green from Steak, and the two Ferraris are coming up the pit lane, and he's sort of like looking at them, and the caption was, when you get demoted from Mario to Luigi. It was just so silly.
That's so goofy.
I just thought it was very funny.
That is really funny.
But anyways, silliest surprise?
Everyone's fucking DRS being broken.
True.
The fuck?
So true.
Also, driver of the day voting this year. But it's not even just like,
Am I like not seeing an online forum where people are just like randomly deciding?
yeah,
like,
someone
who to-
spins a wheel and everyone
Yeah.
votes for that person. Is there a subreddit?
Yeah. I'm like,
Let me in. I want to be involved.
Yeah.
But like, what the?
Bizarre. Lewis? Like,
Ollie Behrman went from P20 to P10.
yeah. Like,
Lando was fighting for his life.
George Russell had to fix his car while driving
Yeah.
it into P2. Huh? Wow.
Like, no hate, Lewis, but didn't he start? No, he started like P8 or something.
Yeah, like P8 or P9 or something.
P8 to P5.
Yeah.
Didn't really do anything.
You're a world champion. I would expect that from you.
Yeah. Like, no hate. He's just living his life. But
come on. There was so many more better options.
That's like when Kimi was driver of the day the other day. I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Like Suzuka, okay, like no one was
Yuki.
really like
that's just about Yuki being Slay.
his home race. But yeah. Anyways, that was bizarre.
Yeah.
My silly surprises were Lando's start.
Yeah.
That was surprising. The quali results. Just
My
Gasly,
prediction
Lando,
came in
Max.
clutch.
It did, for real.
I predicted that we'd have a shock result. Maybe I should have said no because we got multiple shock results.
But I know. And also seeing Max down in P20. That was such a silly little surprise.
That is a silly surprise.
Did you have a useless stat?
I actually didn't.
I did.
Which
it's not a very
I think
exciting
it's the
one,
first time I've not had a useless stat.
Yeah, fair. That's
Anyway.
okay. I had, this is Oscar's 30th consecutive point scoring race weekend, which is kind of
Wow.
amazing.
And it's his 50th race.
Yeah. So like super consistent.
Mhm.
And this year so far, every race has been won from pole.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
I know.
Goes to your point about being a Saturday championship.
A little bit, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy. I do love that Oscar's pole record is now 2 from 2.
Yeah. That's a vibe. That's very anti where I'm at. Charlotte Leclerc.
Well, me too. With my other driver.
True.
But
yeah.
Slay.
So
Your favourite moment?
my favorite moment was after the safety car when they showed that graphic of all the tires that everyone was on.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, what is going to happen right now?
Yeah,
Who
that's
is going to
really
win this
fun.
race? What is going to happen?
Yeah.
So that was my favorite.
Yeah.
What about
There were a few like overtakes. I really loved the Kimi overtake on Max.
Yes.
I loved that a lot.
Yes.
As well as like the Lewis Carlos battle.
Yes.
Like when there's just a bit of like going
Yeah,
on.
and there's a bit of like lore around it too.
yeah, exactly. Like Kimi versus Max. One, it was a great overtake.
Yeah.
But it was also just like
Here's you.
yeah, and I'm like, you were so pissed, but like now you know how everyone else felt.
Yeah.
When you were doing this.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Anyway.
Obviously we talked a little bit about driver of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your driver of the day?
I had a little bit George, mainly just because of all of the shit that he was fucking managing.
Yeah.
But Ollie,
Yeah. Valid.
like, he played.
Yeah. P20 to points as a rookie.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
What about you?
I had George.
Yeah.
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 Just bro had to turn his car off and on again while driving.
Yeah, literally. He was just like,
managed to make
okay.
it work. Yeah. Crazy.
Honestly, very slay from him.
Yeah.
He killed
So,
it. Stayed calm.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Said audacious while all that was going on.
Yeah.
Made like 2 jokes about Fernando's wheel coming off.
Like, what the hell?
I know. Bizarre.
Bro, just chilling.
For real.
So
But
funny.
anyway, I think that's it.
I think it is. We're
Yeah.
off to Saudi next weekend.
We are. It is the fastest street circuit on the F1 calendar.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yes. Has the most number of corners, 27.
That's a lot. 27 corners.
I mean, a lot of them I think are just like weaves.
Yeah, because it's fast. So it's
Yeah.
like a lot of fast corners. But like, that's fun. It's the scene of Ollie Behrman's
Debut.
stellar F1 debut last year.
His car could be as fast as a Ferrari this year. Who even knows?
Yeah.
Um,
Carlos Sainz didn't drive here last year,
he
obviously.
did not. That's very true. And last year we had Charles Leclerc on the podium. And that is going to be one of my predictions for
Oh,
Saudi,
okay.
is Charles Leclerc on the
Was
podium.
it a Max Perez Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's before that went to shit.
Yep.
I came back for a little bit through like Japan and China last year.
Yeah.
And then it went away again, and Perez also went away.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. It's been a
Me
while
too.
between Australia was a straight track. But I mean, like, I was there. Like, I wasn't watching on TV.
Yeah.
So for me, watching from
Street
home-
track and a night race. It's going to be good.
Yes.
I think
It's
it's at like
also-
3 a.m.
I'm watching. We have a public holiday that day. So
True.
we can get up leisurely, We can film podcasts whenever the fuck we want.
Nice.
During the day.
So good. I can't wait.
I know. Yeah, like
Amazing.
I don't have to get up really early. You can just get up whenever. Except for I will be probably just getting up to watch it. Not at no. But
I was like, why?
like, I don't sleep in.
Fair.
I can't. I wish I could.
I can.
You be
And I will.
yeah, slay. But also
Hell
like I get excited.
True.
I'm like, I want to get up and watch it. I'm like 7
Fair.
o'clock.
I mean, yeah, when my alarm went off at 5 o'clock this morning, I was like, bing! Race.
Yeah, literally. Anyways, that's completely irrelevant.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really excited. We are going to be remote
We will.
because I'm not going to be in town. But
Yes.
it will be fun. It will be fine. It will be slay.
It will.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You were doing well. I know, but I get worried and then I fuck it up every time. Anyways, leave us a 5-star review if you did enjoy it. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, comment your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And we'll see you next time. Bye.